Hi, I just want to show you this book. This book's called Fashion, The Definite Visual Guide, and it is by the publisher Smithsonian. I'm showing you this book in case you want to buy it. I bought it initially as a coffee table book, but I bought it because of the images and all the information that it has inside. So this book starts showing you all of the eras that it encapsulates. So it goes from prehistoric times, medieval times, the Baroque and Rococo times, up until the 1980s and onwards. Okay, so it has many very in-depth images, and at the beginning of each era it has like a little timeline with drawings and images of the main events of each era. So the Egyptian times, we go all up to the ancient world, neoclassical Greece, and as time goes on it becomes more and more interesting because we have more information of the times. We have more information because of the art, the frescoes, the tapestry, and the images. Also writing. So now we're at the medieval times. Some social statements. And now we're starting to see a bit more about the history of the shoes. So in the medieval times, we start knowing a little bit more about the fashion. There's a stereotype that we have about the medieval times, and most of them are right in the fashion area. So paintings are becoming more and more detailed with the shadow and less flat as in the beginning. We know that during the Renaissance, a lot of the famous painters came to fame and influence. Also, we have very detailed information about actual garments of the times and close-ups of to understand better the garments. Now we're at the 16th century, the Elizabethan era, I think it's called. And we have information of the beautiful jewelry, details of the accessories, different social classes within an era will have different fashions as it is today. The Baroque and the Rococo era are very interesting in terms of detail. Everything was quite excessive, and most of the paintings portray that of the queens and the nobility. Here's the dress that we would associate with the Marie Antoinette era. It's very interesting, and this book, as it is quite big, we can see a lot of the detail, and the images are in very good quality. This is the famous Marie Antoinette painting. It's gorgeous. The dandy era. Now we come to the period of the 19th century and the Empire line, which is quite famous, of the era. We have here a close-up of the stitching and the cuts of each dress. This is a beautiful painting, Imperial Opulence, from Revolution to Frivolity, around 1863. So this is the era of the multi-layer petticoats. There's also a lot of information of menswear, which is really useful to understand both sides, and also the Oriental style. Obviously, in each area of the world, there's different fashions developing. In Asia, in Japan and China, but this book is mostly portraying fashions in Europe and the US, in the Occidental world. The Coco Chanel era in the 1920s, the Jazz Age, details of the dance dress, hats and suits for all, modernism, and then we go to the era where everything became more utilitarian. Skirts became shorter for easy use and practicality, and also gowns became quite similar to what we see today. Women's army clothing, menswear, Hollywood vibes, the denim, the 40s and the 60s, the new look installed by Dior, the wedding dress from the 50s. The 60s, all of the icons, and obviously the fashion designers like Bieber, pop music, and the events that influenced fashion. The designer decades, so we see the rise of the supermodels and fashion as we know it today. Fashion designers and celebrity. And it goes up until obviously Alexander McQueen, the new era. So the book portrays from the 2010 onwards up until 2018. With an afterword about the new era and fashion in general. So at the back we can see silhouettes according to different years, menswear throughout the years, shoes. Oh, I love this page, of different eras, and we can kind of compare side to side. Hats, bags throughout the years, corsets, and the glossary. I hope you like this book. You can have a bit more of an idea of what it's like. Yes, goodbye.